You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for Twinless. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Twinless is a 2025 dark comedy that served as the opening night film for Denver's CinemaQ Film Festival, a film festival focused on highlighting queer films, filmmakers, and representation, Denver's only queer film festival. So Twinless follows the story of two grieving men who bond in a support group for people who have lost their twin and form an unlikely friendship. The film is directed by, written by, and starring James Sweeney, and also stars Dylan O'Brien, Aisling Francoisi, and Lauren Graham. So initially, I was supposed to see Twinless through the 2025 Virtual Sundance Film Festival. I purchased my ticket, I was ready to go, and then folks started leaking specific scenes across the internet and they yanked it off the platform and right out of my account. So I never got to see it at Sundance and had to choose something else with my ticket. Yeah, this viewing has basically been 8 months in the making. So when I saw that CinemaQ was opening up with Twinless, I did not hesitate to snatch my ticket and see this in a movie theater before it releases in September. And as a Dylan O'Brien fan, who did in fact see those leaked scenes, I was very excited to check this film out. I was already really excited, not having seen those scenes, just hearing the premise, hearing people's response to the film, hearing how great Dylan O'Brien was in the film. I was hyped to check this out. And that's why I'm so happy to say I loved Twinless. I thought this was quite a wonderful gem of a film. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I'm going to kick things off with Dylan O'Brien. Yeah, the main reason I even knew this film existed. And well, he's worth that top billing because Dylan is fantastic in this film. He's been turning in great performances for years now that have largely gone underseen and underpraised. But Twinless is going to be that performance of his that is undeniable. He is amazing in this film, playing dual characters, and he's great at both of them. Some great comedic chops, some amazing dramatic chops. He just delivers. And then I have to give it up for James Sweeney, who's also fantastic as an actor in this film. I'm not familiar with him in other projects, but he's great in this movie with a really complex and complicated performance. Additionally, I think he has a really deft touch behind the camera and delivered a really solid script. A complicated, messy script that delivered. And going along with that script, particularly, this was not the film I was anticipating. I will say that. It delivers a lot of what I was hoping for, what I went in expecting and wanting from the premise. However, it delivers those things through a completely different lens, through completely different circumstances that I was not prepared for. Now, I'm not going to talk any more about that because I don't want to spoil the film or give anything away there, but you're in for a wild ride. But through that script, no matter which direction it goes or how it chooses to handle the different topics it tackles, I think it handles them all very, very well in complex, deep, messy ways that feel human. I was very uncomfortable. It's not a black and white moral film by any means. Even when we're dealing with something like grief here, you are still very uncomfortable with the way that things are depicted and the different directions our story takes us in through that grief, but yet it never fully loses its empathy. It doesn't take the easy way out on anything, but it also always remains human. And that's a really difficult balancing act that Twinless really nails. And yeah, those scenes that we all saw across the internet back in January from Sundance, they're here. They're here in the film. Dylan O'Brien, yeah, if you're a fan of him, you get to see a lot of him in some very queer aspects. And let me just say, if you saw the leaks, they look that much better, more glorious, more beautiful on the big screen in high definition. Definitely worth seeing in theaters. So then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Twinless? Well, probably my only real negative when it comes to Twinless is character development for some of our lesser characters, if you will. Dylan O'Brien plays twins, and as you know from the premise, one of them passes away, and I really wish we had gotten more time with that twin that passes away. He's talked about, his presence obviously looms over the entire film. His presence is the catalyst to the entire film, and honestly, he's pretty much a main character because he is central to the entire narrative of what's happening. However, I just wish we had gotten more time with him. We do get to meet him, and he's part of one of those racy Dylan O'Brien scenes we've all known about. But particularly when it came to the two twins themselves, I think it would have hit a little bit harder if we had just gotten at least a few moments with them, their dynamic. And if we had gotten to know him as his own standalone person for a bit longer. And the same thing with Aisling's character. I think she gives a knockout performance here. Actually, it's a different performance than I think I've ever seen her give, and she's fantastic. But, her character's kind of just a stand-in for a good portion of it. She's a really fun character overall, but I think she could have had more depth to who she was. And the Dylan O'Brien mother character, played by Lauren Graham, definitely could have used more fleshing out. And I think her relationship could have been more nuanced. It really kind of felt, there was so much there with that relationship that we never dive into or get anything with, really. And it felt very undercooked there. And the film is under 2 hours long, and it does not feel long at all. It goes by like this, which is great, but also left me thinking, we had time to add in a little bit more development for all of these different characters here without overstaying our welcome. But overall, I loved Twinless. This took me on a journey I was not anticipating heading into that film. I still got that really deep, grief-driven story I was anticipating. I still got sexy Dylan O'Brien, who is shirtless for at least half the film. And I got the kind of dark comedy I was hoping for, all mixed in here, but told through a story I was not prepared for in the best ways possible. So I say go into Twinless knowing as little as possible from here on out and just check it out. I think you're going to have a really good time with this movie. It's unexpected in all the best ways. So that was my review for Twinless. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Have you had the chance to check out Twinless, or are you just hyped to finally get the chance to watch this film? Let me know all of your thoughts and comments either in that comment section down below, or you can hit me up over on Twitter and Blue Sky. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!